In the Trenches with Ryan Roxie.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the beginning of the band. First, the beginning of your name, because my name's Ryan Roxie. It's a sort of abbreviation of my long Polish name. At least that's the story I like to tell. But yours is completely different. James Richard Southworth, which I kind of think, Southworth is a pretty friggin' cool name out of the gate. But Bolan, you liked T-Rex, am I right?
Big time. That was my tribute to Mark Bolan, because his songwriting and just T-Rex as a whole had just made such an impact on me. There he is. And and as far as Rachel goes, I was trying to come up, kid with dreams, like, I want a stage name, and I wasn't sure about what I was going to use as the last name, but I just started taking family names and combining them and seeing what would come up. And then I took my brother's name, which is Richard, and my grandfather's name, which was Manuel, and boom, I put them together, and I'm like, Rachel. And being an Alice Cooper fan, I always thought it was cool for a guy to have a chick's name, and I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, you know what? Parents are gonna hate it. They're absolutely gonna hate it. Awesome. What's my last name gonna be? And
I'm Rachel.
And so I just I thought about Mark Bolan, and I'm like, yeah, there's room for another Bolan. So, and then I legally changed it. Eventually, I changed it, and it's funny, in the beginning, the label didn't want me to use the name, management didn't want me to use the name, and I was like, I have a problem.
That, do you think? I mean, did they? Because that name sounds. I think it sounds instant rock star. Just add water or just add alcohol.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Everyone didn't think. Our first manager is like, you're going to be called this for the rest of your life, and I was like, yeah, that's the goal and the point. Yeah, and the label was had said to me more than one time, it's like, you're born with a rock star's name, why don't you just keep that? And didn't want me to wear the nose ring, didn't want me to wear the nose chain. And I have a problem with authority when they just try to hold me back from being creative. So
I think reverse psychology might have worked well, but yeah, back in the day, I think we all had, when anybody would say, "Oh, well, do your impersonation of Skid Row," everyone would just go like this.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
But it sets you apart for sure. It gave you your identity.
And that's exactly what I was trying to do. It was, and I'm a punk rock kid, and the Sex Pistols fan, the chick, she had the nose chain.
Susie
I'm like,
the
man,
Banshees? Who was it?
It was the I think she called herself Cat Girl, and she was always at Sex Pistols show. You see a million pictures of her. So she was probably hanging out with
Susie from Susie and the Banshees.
Probably, and then that girl had the nose chain, and I was like, that is cool. Yeah, I was like, this is really cool, and she was their fan, and so it always kind of stuck with me. So once I pierced my nose, I'm like, I'm gonna kick a chain in there, and I did it, and still wearing it. I got rid of it for a while, and people were pissed.
Really? I got my nose pierced before I got my ear pierced.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Did you do ear first?
I had my ears done first, and
okay.
I saw, and this is what made me want to get my nose pierced, was Peter Burns from Dead or Alive. And
yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude is
all right. Rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He was an ultimate rock star.
Oh yeah.
Spin Me Round, Baby Rat.
Yeah.
I love that whole first album, and his other band member that he had, the guy that played guitar was cool. Really, there was two of them that had that vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they were kind of like, sort of like Tears for Fears. Those were the focus, like Wham and stuff like that. And I just thought, this dude is so cool, and he just gives zero shit, man. Yeah, he gives zero fucks, and he just is going out there and doing his thing, and I'm like, I dig that, and I pierced my nose. And then eventually I got one on each side, and then I took one of them out. I took both of them out for a short time, but then I put the original one back in.
Too much pushback from the Skid Row purists.
Yeah, exactly. And then I didn't wear the chain for many, many years. And the guys were always like, come on, man, throw the chain back in, throw the chain back in. And I was like, yeah. So I dug one up. I found it. Well, this is when I was still living in Atlanta. And we were playing Rocklahoma. And I didn't tell them, and I brought it with me. And everyone's like, all right, showtime, let's go, let's go, let's go. And actually, Eddie Trunk was there too. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go announce you guys. And I was like, I'll be there in a second, went in the bathroom real quick and put it on, go run a catch up. And everyone's putting their guitar on. And Scotty, I remember he's putting his guitar. He goes, whoa!
It's back!
and he's like, and then he comes out, I'm going to announce you guys. Holy shit! Everyone was here. It was so funny, man. So,
back on the chain gang, dude. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There was a time, actually, I think probably in the 90s, where you could have, and it's probably progressed and it's lasted way too long if you ask our drummer, Glenn Sobel, but you could have had the nose going to the ear, then going down to your wallet.
Yeah,
you could have had a chain wallet.
I know. I used to get asked so many crazy questions about that thing. The funniest was, I always used to get, what do you do if you have a cold? And I was like, I undo the chain and I blow my nose. I don't know. But the funniest was, what happens if you turn your head real fast? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, doesn't it get tight? I'm like, there it is. I go, yeah. I'm thinking, does it get tight? I go, what are you saying? Like, when you pull, like, if you turn your head, doesn't the chain like lose all the slack? And I was like,
we've worked out the mathematics of
it. Hang on a second. And I'm like, you see what I'm saying? And they're like, oh.
We've tested every angle. We are snag free.
Yeah. It's not connected to my shoulder, but I thought that was funny.
That being said, though, Rachel, there had to have at least been one or two nose chain malfunctions over the years. There had to have been, because I mean, I from time to time, at least once or twice every couple of years, I'll catch something, whether it's a fucking towel or whether it's it's my wife's shoulder or something like that. I'll just go, and this thing will knock off, and I'll go, oh, son of a bitch, it's hard to put back in.
Well, I always got a lock. Like, this one's been in my nose since. It's been in my nose about 20 years, probably. It just locks, and that's it. It's there. But twice I caught the chain on one of my tuners on my bass, and it just ripped it right out of my ear, but stayed in my nose. The ear hurt really bad because it kind of like ripped the hole a little bit, just a little bit. But the nose hurt just from the initial tug. And so, your eyes fill up and you're just like, wah. And then, I did that twice on stage. And then one time it just broke the chain completely and I saw stars, man. Oof. It was, there's been and
Vic then Vic, do you have a clip of that? Vic, you want to put that clip up of that? You don't have it. Vic, now there's two fingers up. He's going like that. You're on vacation, Vic. If we weren't on vacation, I'd expect you to have that clip of when that happened. I love it.
But back in the day when my hair was really long, I'd always get caught up in it, and I'd go to pull it and it'd just be a knot. And, do half the show with your hair tangled with your chain. I'd just undo it and just leave it in the hair and figure it out when the show was done.
You made a commitment, but look, people freaked out when it went away, and they embraced it when it came back. So obviously it was the right decision to make. Another decision that you guys made. How about that for a segue?
Whoa, that's good. You're slick. You are slick.
It's because you got the cream shirt on. I love it, man. All right. Another decision that you guys made was to call the band Skid Row because, folks, and tell me if I'm wrong, there might never have been, or at least not the same way we hear it today, a thing called love, or do you believe in a thing called love from a band called The Darkness if you guys hadn't changed your name to Skid Row, because you started out I think in '86 as, was it The Darkness or was it just Darkness?
Darkness.
Darkness.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Darkness. That that was, we weren't really, we had a few songs. This is when I first met Snake, and he's just like, I got this idea for, it was actually from an Aerosmith song. I forget which song particularly, but yeah. So there he is. So we, we had never played a gig with it or anything. We were just using it as our name. And then we were driving to rehearsal. We used to rehearse in New Brunswick, and where I met Snake at the music store was in Tom's River. So I pick him up and we drive up to New Brunswick for rehearsal. And it was about an hour drive. And I go, "Are you feeling Darkness? Are you feeling that?" He's like, I go back and forth, And I go, we should just throw something else out there. And then we came up with Skid Row on that car drive. And,
what if you would have said, "I'm feeling The Darkness"?
Yeah.
Some little kid's dreams in England would have been crushed at that
point.
point.
Destroyed.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. But so that's when we came up with Skid Row, and I told, we walked in, I said, yeah, we changed the name of the band. And here, like, I knew Snake. I didn't know the guys in the band all that well. They were guys he was jamming with. And I just, I went in, I was just like, yeah, we changed the name of the band. Everyone's like, what? And they were looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy? What do you mean changing
Apparently
the
name changer.
Changing the name of the band. Who the fuck is he? Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's great, though. I mean, because
fit us more,
Very few band names get changed when you're carpooling. Probably that might have been the first. Usually these big long brainstorm sessions that happen, but you guys are driving up the what exit was it? It was probably the turnpike.
yeah, exactly. We're on the Garden State Parkway, and what they just come up with the name because we were just like, well, what do you want to call it? What should we call it? Like, I don't know. And like being a punk rock kid, I always loved the before the name. It probably wouldn't have worked for us, but I said, because we drove past where there must have been an accident that just got cleared, and literally there were skid marks like all over the place, covering all 4 lanes. And I go, the Skids. And then I think, the Snake goes, that's cool. Not sure about the. He was a metal kid, so I was like, not sure about the before the name. I go, what about Skids? And he's like, Skids, I don't know. And then he said, what about Skid Row? And we were both quiet for about 4 miles thinking about it. And I look at him. We're both broke. I'm looking to make sure I have enough toll money in the cup holder, and I was like, yeah, that could work. That could work. And he's like, yeah. I like this. So, and that's how we came up with it. And we drove up and told the other guys, and they got mad at me.
And then you did. And then you did one of the most classic things. And honestly, I just thought of this now, and I have my. Hold on.
Yeah.
You did one of the most classic things to do, which is punk rock, because you make the first album and you do the brick wall rock band shot, just like the Ramones, just like so many rock bands back in the day. And guess what?
That whole, like, especially the cover on the back cover of the album, that was all just an idea about making it look like the first Ramones record. Wanted an alley shot, have it in black and white, and that was supposed to be the cover. Snake and I wanted that as the cover, and then the cover was the originally the back cover, the front cover. It was just in reverse, and then
reversed it. Yeah.
The art department came in. No. We were just kids. We didn't know. We didn't have any power. So
no. It was Atlantic Records in New York City. You're on Atlantic Records, and they would. We had with Electric Angels. We had a black and white album cover, black and white shot with, guess what, red logos. So there was definitely a theme rolling back in those days.
Yeah. Well, we used the guy that did the Georgia Satellites, because I love that album cover, the first album, and I love the whole vibe. And Snake, dug it, and we got him, and he shot the. See, that's the back. That was originally the front cover, and Mark Weiss took that picture.
Oh, Mark's great. Yeah, that and see,
love Mark.
So keep that shot up there, folks. Get that shot in your head, because a couple years later, I'm playing in a band called Sweden called Casablanca, and there you go. There's the.
There you have it. That's awesome.
Apocalyptic Youth, and I think it was the exact same
That's so
idea.
funny.
Was like let's take this brick wall. Why are brick walls and rock and roll so cohesive?
I don't know, but man, they put us in front of so many brick walls during the course of our career, and then it switched to the bay doors with the metal slats. It's like now those are new brick walls. But it's funny, it's like that back cover that you just showed. That's not a real alley. Like, Mark built that alley. That's all plywood and those fake bricks and everything. And we built it to look like he built it to look like just a beat up old dingy alleyway, which I thought was really cool.
I think we got to get Mark Weiss on the podcast. I'm sure he'd have a few good stories about all the photo shoots he's done.
He's a trip. Yeah.
Every time we play Jersey, he's there shooting. And when we.
I'm Ryan Roxie, and I've taken all my years of experience of playing guitar, and I want to pass the torch of rock and roll on to you. Check out the System 12 Guitar Method.